I think we came to realize, and we all know this, right? Our consumers became much more digital about 15 years ago. Companies are still acting like this is just another channel. I think we have to realize that today we are living in a digital world, and companies who don't understand this, who don't necessarily move into join their customers there, are at risk today. What it means, companies are working through a very complex set of process to manufacture, to launch a campaign, from engineering, redesigning products. What companies are not really well prepared is managing chaos. They can plan for it, but they can't really manage when it happens. And digital world is really a series of chaos, series of disruptive technology, and the question is, how quickly can you recuperate from the disruptions and actually ride that wave instead of being submerged by that wave? The major goal is really to bring what is digital to my consumers, all the people inside the company. And the benefit is the ability for every member of our company, from the CTO, CMO, CEO, all the way to the person in the factory, understanding the voice of the consumer. And that's actually how we translate. Being able to understand that consumers act differently than they used to 20 years ago. That means different things from sales channel. Retailers are seeing it firsthand. So our salespeople need to be aware of whether challenge our retailers are with digital in the store. Same for marketers, same for our engineering group, right? Rating reviews. They're coming up today where they never used to read reviews. Our engineers now are reading the reviews as the marketers are at the same time. So in terms of goals, it's the ability to actually move quickly. We can't plan for everything, and that's fine. The question is going to be, once we get a new piece of information, how quickly can we react to it? I think it starts with making sure that it's supported, this digital transformation is supported at the highest level. It is a company-wide effort. It is not just one department. If you're doing one department, you will maybe be successful, but ultimately it won't move the needle. It has to be supported by your board of directors, your CMO, your CTO, of course. That's number one. The second is actually, do you have the right data? If you don't understand your consumers, you're going to be very limited in your ability to actually do digital transformation. Technology by itself is not the answer. It's about, does the technology that you're actually incorporating into your process allow you to get a better understanding of your consumers? Not only what are they doing, but why are they doing those things or those actions, taking those actions. So that's really the second one, is do you have the right resources in place to be able to read that data and translate it, and then more importantly, actually distribute that to the right teams along the line. And where it used to be very narrow to a few groups, you will see that through digital transformation, you need to actually, more people need to embrace sharing those documents and actually utilizing in their day-to-day work. I would say every member of every employee. Of course, executive would get actually much higher level of education, training, but we would actually still have plans for every layer within the company. Interestingly enough, actually, I think we've seen a change where I'm getting a lot of requests from board asking for programmatic buy. So definitely they are open to already those technology, may not know enough about it, but they're already following it. So it's a big difference from, let's say, 5 years ago. It's not easy, and for two reasons. One, the business gets rewarded for taking risk, and there's clear objectives to hit. Usually it's around sales, revenue, profit. IT organization usually gets rewarded around stability, minimizing risks. So in a way, if I was to give you an example, a CMO success, creating a video that will be going viral, that will hit your website massively with very little notice, that's what success looks like for a CMO. That is the horror story that a CEO would have. So success, the CMO success is really the nightmare of your CTO. That's where your CDO, Chief Digital Officer, comes in. It's actually somewhere in between where you need to find someone who can actually accommodate those risks, but also gets rewarded. Ultimately, the best way to achieve those two bipolar parts is really realign your objective. the business has to understand, what risk means, and also for them ultimately, because the IT group is there to protect the business from themselves in some cases. At the same time, the IT structure has to be changed, where they're no longer supporting the enterprise, but supporting their internal clients, which means supporting and actually get rewarded by the success of their internal clients. So sales, if my site go down, it's not the fact that the site is up, the server is up, it's the fact that as my consumers can access information on those pages. So no longer talking about uptime, but talking about access of documents, for instance. So very small variations. We started a few years back. I think it's very interesting to us for a couple of reasons. One, it is expected from our consumers. Our consumers today are expecting Internet of Things. They're actually expecting to be able to access more data than they have in the past and be able to customize recipes or add new functionality within their device. If you think of it, right, your phone doesn't really change, but the new software upgrade gives you new functionality, new benefits. People actually are starting to migrate and thinking the same way about their appliances. My washer has 12 cycles. Why couldn't I have 15? Do I need those 12? No, maybe I have just 3, but give me the 3 I want. So those are the things that we know our consumers want, not necessarily willing to pay for those today. I think we'll be table stakes in the future. As a company, of course, we want to make sure that we create appliances that fit our customers' need and life in general. I think on the other side, also for us, one of the key benefits, we don't talk often about this because, for obvious reason, but it's an ability for companies to actually get a lot more data about their consumers. And it's not about prodding into someone's personal life, it's actually understanding how people are using our device. We spend a lot of time researching, going in people's home, following them, doing interviews. But we all know between a survey when you ask 50 people and 1,000 machines sending us data of actually what is happening, there's a big difference. So we can actually make better products through that data. We can also be doing preventive maintenance, knowing ahead of time, by the way, sir, I see your washer has been running nonstop for 12 days. This part may be at risk of breaking. You want us to order one, or we can send someone to your home to do a cleaning. So there's a lot of opportunities to provide better service to our consumers, better product in the future, and also actually additional revenues from the manufacturer or third-party manufacturers. We have contracts today with companies who do detergents. Not really with companies who does manufacturing of clothes, but with the right sensor, you could put actually, let's say, something that is very fragile in a washer. The sensor will alert the machine that there's a conflict between the cycle the person has chosen and the material that is in the machine, and stop the machine right there. So there's a lot of opportunities, cross-pollination between a laundry, an appliance, and manufacturing of clothes. Now think of this, and then same for your kitchen. A lot of our additional opportunities. Anything that you connect, we have access to online is at risk. Now, nothing is foolproof. Now, most of I would say, in the industry, we take this seriously. We know there are risks, and we're working hard to mitigate it. And that's done by 2 parts. One, I don't think any manufacturer, no manufacturer role can solve this by themselves. It has to go through the industry consortium. And start with also working with Google, with IBM, the cloud providers to make sure that their equipment is secure. Because if you think of it, right, there's multiple ways to hack. There's from your home, your own personal network. There's from the machine, maybe things we may have left open. There's from the cloud services where we send all that data before it goes to actually a private company. So a lot of participants. Today, I don't think there's a clear answer. There's not been actually clear attacks on any other system, but we'd rather prepare than actually try to fix it later. Personally, I wouldn't want a camera in my home. I'd be very worried about all type of data being sent. I think even my cable provider knows a lot more than I want them to know. It is a concern when you don't know what they're doing with their data. And I think it comes down to, as a manufacturer, we want to be very transparent of what do we do with your data. We want to protect that your data is not sold. And more importantly, it's being used to help you get more benefits. And I think people are fine, especially millennials, more than anybody else. As long as you can provide clear benefits to them of what they're gaining by giving up some of that data to the company, better advertising, better service, preventing maintenance I mentioned earlier, people won't mind. It's when you don't see a clear benefit and you see all that data possibly leaking outside of your home, that's where people start having questions. I'd say overall making things look much easier in your home where you don't have to micromanage every step of your cooking or your laundry. So imagine where you get up in the morning and your coffee is ready. And your coffee is 6 o'clock from Monday to Friday. But on the weekend, the system is smart enough to know you're more likely to actually get up later and you don't like coffee, you like tea at this point. So a system that automates this based on who you are and based on your pattern. All the way to your cooking, your oven, the ability actually to not having to put your waffles in and put 30 seconds, but it detects what type of food you have and automatically create the right temperature, the right timing to cook it. Same for your fridge. Family of 4, you usually buy a certain amount of milk every week. It would be nice for the system actually, and it will be possible for the system to start ordering directly based on what learning pattern that usually have to have that much amount of milk in your fridge, and the type of food, depending if you're a family of 4, of 2, single. Also preventing waste. Waste is a big issue, especially in the US. 25% of the food we buy go to waste. So the fridge letting you know in advance that, by the way, this type of food is about to go bad. Here's suggestions how you could cook it tonight and take advantage of it before you lose it for good. So a couple of efforts started actually a few years back. One, actually, we redid our segmentations. I hadn't done in a while. So better understanding from the get-go who are our segments and how do they act, especially when it comes to online. In terms of day-to-day, we started with heavier social media monitoring, so listening to conversations, not only our social media feeds, but also in general, in terms of topics that people our segments care about, so understanding how they think, what they care about, and how can we help them. We expanded, of course, reviews. Reviews are extremely important for us, not only because they help sell more appliances, but more importantly, it's a great way to collect feedback on how people are using those devices and improve upon it. I said earlier, we take them seriously. In the past, it was marketing, reading it, and some level engineering. Today, it's systematic. Every engineer responsible for a product is actually accessing that data directly and getting rated at the end of the day. So if it's bad reviews means he hasn't done his job. And so his job now is not only manufacturing great product, but also making sure that it actually follows what the customer is expecting. So that's those are the type of programs we're doing is where we're getting closer to the customer, and it's really a two-way direction, a two-way dialogue. We want them engaged, and when they engage us, we respond to them.